Hello, and welcome to Creative Vitality Jam Sessions. Here, we have intimate conversations with extraordinary dance and theater artists about reimagining creativity and supporting and building community. CVJS and I walk in solidarity and as allies for equality, justice, and respect. Black Lives Matter, and please get out there and vote. I'm Helen Pickett, and today's guest is Jermel Johnson, principal dancer with Pennsylvania Ballet. We have known each other since 2016. Hi, Jermel.
Hi, Helen.
I'm so happy you're here. Welcome, and thank you for taking time out on your Sunday morning. I know you have a big family, 2 dogs, a cat, 2 children, a beautiful husband. So thank you for sharing your time.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So we start out, everybody, what part of the world are you in?
I am currently in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yes.
There's the trees. I just did a drive through the country to see. We live, in the Wissahickon, so we have a lot of trees too. Just gorgeous.
Oh yeah. They actually just cut down some of the cornfields, so now you see just like open sky. But yeah, for a while we had lots of cornfields up, and it's very beautiful this time of year.
Yeah. Well, let's get to it. So Jermel, I wanted to start with your 19-year career with Pennsylvania Ballet. Congratulations, first of all. That's quite beautiful. And you are also an original member of Ballet X. So what do you most look forward to every day in the studio? Now, I know we're going to have to go back a bit because it's not happening right now, but I think what I mean is after such an in-depth career with covering the span with so many choreographers and so many roles, and being a founding member of another company and being so rooted in one, what is it that gets you going every day in the studio?
For me, it's making connections. I love connecting with people. I love getting them to feel a new way, have a new perspective, see a new way to move with the same idea. The possibilities are endless. So that gets me excited. Always reaching new people, even the same people, because I'm always growing too. So they see me at different stages in my artistry and my career and my life. So that it keeps it exciting.
I think also when I hear you say connection from a choreographer standpoint, when I worked with you and made the role for you in Tilt, I also saw how deeply, in so many different ways that you connected to the movement, all the ways in that you found to this role. And even when it wasn't your role, you were listening to when I was making things for other people. So I feel like that connection is also very deep within your work. Is that right?
It is. And I look for that in other people as well. So with you working with other people, I see how even if you don't know them, you give them something, you see how they work and then how they take it, and then you take it from there. So I already see, so I'm also kind of feeding off of your energy and how, not feeding off of, but like kind of mirroring that, because you're investing your time and energy and focus to try to mold and pull things out of one person as they kind of go off on it. So it makes it exciting, and it was easier for me to mirror image the energy.
Yeah, it's a great energy in that studio, I have to say.
Oh yeah.
It was a great process. And plus we had that huge platform in the studio that were like, the other cast were using every corner of space. It was really remarkable.
Yeah.
So a little bit more. When we worked together, I found your generosity and willingness to grow. So this is riffing a bit on what you just said. To grow created such a fruitful environment. So this is not a negative, but I think you might know what I mean. I don't always find this with principal dancers. Sometimes the feeling of arrival kind of embeds itself, and then it's hard. And I understand, we spend so many years working.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just feels good to say, this is what I have to give you. More work, Like, I understand the concept, you know, so how would you explain, so again, riffing, your approach to creativity and staying open, and it might have to do with the connection that you just spoke of, but
Definitely, it definitely has to do with the connection, but I mean, I've been around for a while and I've seen the different levels and aspect of it, so I understand exactly what you mean. But I also see that sometimes when people come with that mentality, I'm a principal, I only want to do, they miss out on some things. And I've had that experience myself. I'm like, well, I'm a principal, why am I not just doing this and that? And I kind of get so caught up in that that I'm missing. Actually, so my kids love Daniel Tiger, and there's a song, "Enjoy the Wow That's Happening Now." So in that scene, he's worried about what someone else has, and he has this really cool thing that he wanted, and it's like, I think it's like an ice cream, and it's melting away because he's like, oh, I want that, but what he really wanted, he had. He's just more worried about what they. So I will take what I'm given and make it my own, and find ways to relay a message or a new way to think about it, or just keep challenging myself to I don't know, dissect it and re-put it together. So it's always trying to make whatever I'm giving new for me and exciting.
yeah, yeah, you're so right about the grass is greener syndrome. It's so great your kids that that's being taught, you know,
Oh yeah.
like it's beautiful, right? Um, so in all your reimaginings throughout your career, including the vast repertoire you have danced and the creators that you've worked with, because you've had a lot of stuff made on you, which is a really,
Yeah,
not all dancers get that,
exactly.
you know, that opportunity. What key turning points were there for you as an artist?
I can actually think of a couple off of the top of my head, and each one was like, it was like at that moment I felt a level up
Mm.
in just the way I carry myself and my personality, my approach to dance, and my approach to life in general. I think one of the very first was when I felt myself actually transform on stage. And it's like you have the Beyonce, and then she becomes Sasha Fierce. I had my very first Sasha Fierce moment in Matthew Neenan's Carmina.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he choreographed like a little, and I was still young, but he choreographed this little solo opening for me, and I was doing it, and his movement, it wasn't like classical ballet, which is like, I was still in that mindset. Like, I want to be a ballet dancer, I need these positions, and he wanted me to just hold my hand this way and push out. And I was like, okay, Joe. He's like, you look like you're like having a little struggle. He's like, just be otherworldly. This is your time to like be you. Cause like I will walk through the studio, and then like, I'm a ballet dancer, and I would leave that studio and I'd be like, hey y'all, let's get it. Let's go dance. And so he's like, do your Beyonce, be otherworldly. And so it's like, okay, let's try that. So I did it in the way that like, I literally felt like I was from another planet. And he was like, yes, that's it. That's what I want. I was like, oh, I get it now. And then every time I did even more and more, until it was like, I felt like I was literally from another planet, put here to do my thing and showcase that. And like that, so that was a big growing moment for me. I started to feel like my wings on stage almost grow in. And then I started to feel the energy from the audience and the people around me, because when someone's really like in it on stage, it's like people start to pick up on it.
That's right.
And then you start to feel like that. So yeah, that was a huge moment for me.
Yeah. You said you had a couple more?
Another was, so I think it was maybe 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
We did, we took, is it the Kimmel in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
We brought Four T's, and I did Phlegmatic,
Oh.
which is a dream role. I'd done it once before, but this particular time was like, we are out of Philly, like I'm in a new element. And I can't even remember exactly what I did, but I remember the feeling that I had. And it was like, here and here, and like it was just, I felt like I was radiating this feeling of, I don't know, I felt like part of history in that, because phlegmatic is like, it's a, for me, it's an iconic role.
It's
So it's super exciting to be able to do that on stage and feel like I felt like I was flying. I felt completely free. There were no limitations. So that was another one that, like to this day, I still remember just like the feeling I had in my chest. And when it was over, dancers from other companies were coming up to me, and it's like, you don't always need that like feedback and praise, but to have them, some of them were saying that they felt what I was exuding, and that was huge.
That is huge. That is huge, because I don't know about you, but I can count the times that I was that dropped in and felt that spirit. You know, I mean, they're that special.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what paths continue to open up as you grow in your art form? And do you think it has to do with trust in oneself?
I absolutely think it has to do with trust. I'll get back to the doors that open, but trusting in yourself is a big part of discovery, because it's ballet is so visual and so critical, and you're always looking at yourself, and people are always looking at you, and especially with ballet having a name to every step. Like you feel like you have to fit in that box, this name of that step, and that's what it looks like. And worrying so much about the technique of everything, I would say close myself off.
Oh yeah.
And in the mirror, like looking at everything, and then eventually, like someone's like, well, you don't need to look in the mirror all the time. You're doing it. Trust that you're doing the steps. Work for something greater than just doing the steps. How are you connecting the steps together? How are you creating meaning for these steps that have names and like everybody can like identify with? How are you gonna like make it into dance? So I think it's literally trusting this, that my body can do the steps and knew the technique was part of that. And then, sorry, I got excited. What was the first part of the question?
Well, I mean, that was great, but I think it's like, how do you continue to open into growing into your art form?
Oh, well, I think once you start realizing that you're an artist, or you're working towards artistry, you're becoming an artist, that starts to spill over into everything that you do. Like I make jewelry, and I associate my jewelry making and the wire and the weaving that I do with the motions of, like, say, a port de bras. So I go into the studio, and some days I literally look like a crazy person, because with live music, you walk into the studio. So we have live music, a live pianist, and we have really great pianists. And sometimes they'll play like Disney music or popular music, and I am in it, and I am moving, and like I am living my best spirit in that moment. So in my jewelry making, I am like almost mimicking those motions of a port de bras, and the flow and the breath, and how it feels like it needs to be organic to how I feel. And now that I'm doing other things, like there's an art to, like I'm finding artistry and joy in everything I do. And it's like you connect it to your being. It becomes who you are.
Yes, 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 yes. I so hear you with there's art in everything. Absolutely. And then it all kind of flows together and flows back, like you said, with your jewelry and your port de bras. The art, when you start really opening up to the art of life in all facets, man, when you get back in the studio and feel that again, it's remarkable.
Yeah.
Well, for me as a choreographer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you get to, it's exciting seeing other people tap into that energy, that know-how.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, here I am. And to continue the reimagining ideas, you have two children with your husband. They must keep you in a state of reimagining. How have these glorious little ones shifted your perspective of life and art?
I take more time to think about the things that I'm doing, and I would say enjoy and invest more in everything that I do. And if I have a question, ask. Take the time to know what it is that I want to know about what it is, because my kids, like, they're at the stage where they ask a question, excuse me, they ask a question, and just because isn't good enough. You have to tell them exactly why, and it has to be something that they can comprehend, because they'll remember and they'll repeat it. So you have to take the time. And in ballet, sometimes I think we're so used to hearing, it's this way because that's how it's always been done, or this is how I was taught, but why were you taught that way, or why was it done this way? So now, like, that's in my head, like, I want to question everything now because I have to break it down for them. So yeah, they're amazing, and they're exhausting because of that, because they're so inquisitive and smart. So like, I'm always thinking, like, why am I doing this? Is this the best route? Is there a lesson to be learned from this?
Wow. Little mirrors, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I share with you, so, like, I put them to bed, and every now and again I'll go in their rooms to check on them, and I'll, like, kiss them on their forehead, and sometimes they'll wake up and I'll say, Papa loves you. I always whisper, Papa loves you. And every now and again Jaden wakes up. So yesterday I fell asleep on the couch, and I kind of, like, woke up to him. He kissed my hand, and I opened one eye. He's like, I love you, Papa. I said, I love you too. And then I went back to sleep. But, like, that'll be a moment that I always remember.
And also, you know, that he's learning this kind of affection.
Exactly.
That it means so much to him that he's actually reciprocating it. That
And
means that's already ingrained. How beautiful, you know, that love. Beautiful. And also another reimagining. It's amazing. I have to mention that you have used this time to not only stay in shape as a ballet dancer, be a father,
try to.
All stuff. Yeah, right. You enrolled to become a certified massage therapist. And like so many artists I know, including myself, you have embarked on another avenue to keep your life moving, you know, moving ahead, and moving forward and moving into, and however you want to describe it. What do you think it is about artists that we continue? I think it's a need, but I want to hear from you to find new avenues of expression and growth.
I think it goes back to, like, once you start tapping into artistry, it's everywhere. It's within you. So artists, we can find inspiration from anything, because we know that we invest so much energy into what we're doing, even if it's just like a single role. You're putting all of you into it, and it's hard to come out of that. It's hard to, like, once you do something new, it's hard to just, like, kind of partial, like, you're focused, like, you want to do well, you've reached something, you want to excel, you want to succeed, you want to share it, you want to grow. So I think that's part of why we do what we do. We know, like, going into this, that it's hard. Dance is hard. It's too hard not to love what you do. It's way too, especially with, like, having names to steps, but, like, not even having names to step, in being able to dance and show intimate parts of yourself and still walk away from that not having left it. Like, you have to exude and give part of yourself, but you need to recollect that energy. You need to still walk away with a sense of self. And that's difficult. It's difficult. So I think there's already a strength and a desire to keep going, to find out what's next, to grow. I mean, even in like massage therapy, so I'm under 200 hours in my 600-hour program, but I'm finding art in, like, I'm dance, like in the motions of these movements and the energy, and it has so much to do with and I've always believed in transfers of energy. We all have our own energy, and what you're basically balancing with other people. It's like a balancing act and introducing new energy and exchange. So with the motions of massage, like I'm channeling that energy you feel when the curtain goes up and the audience goes, I can relay that, I can channel that and relay that into people. I can release emotions, I can make them feel things that they wouldn't have thought possible through touch, how I do with movement. So I think
that's an incredibly healing vision you just laid out, as far as like, I too believe in the transfer of energy, but what you just said is really, really beautiful. Like, you put in your hands the joy of what you feel on stage. I mean, that's extraordinary, because those people aren't going to come off the table and like, I just did Playmatic with you. They're not, but they, you know, I believe so strongly in that they might feel rejuvenated.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. And you and grounded, being massage, like, you have to be grounded. It's the same with like Tai Chi or dance. Like even dancers, you need to be grounded. You can't be so uppity that, I mean, you kick your leg and you go down if you're not grounded. So there's the taking in the energy and putting out. You have to put back in what you give out, and the same thing is applied with massage therapy. And so I think as an artist, you're always going to find avenues to put out that energy and heal. Like, I think even that dancers, were healers. We're able to take people to a place that maybe they wouldn't have been able to get to otherwise. We're able to relieve some stress, to give them hope, excitement, joy. Like, we can make people feel so many things if we believe in what we're doing.
Right. So with you. So with you. Beautiful. Yeah. Kind of I don't know, you seem to be ticking off all your bucket list.
Oh, sorry. Oh, well.
No, but so here's like, no, it's great, because that's about the next question. No, I love it. I love it. What are do you have, I'm sure you do, we all do. What are your bucket list wishes as far as roles or travel or life?
I'd say
I know there's a lot, maybe just a few.
But yeah. I'd say as far as roles, I love A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's a dream ballet. It was, I think, actually the first ballet I ever saw live. And then I saw Puck enter that stage. I was like, I want that role. I never got to do Puck. I've gotten to do Oberon, which is like, it's up there. And it was like right up I love Petit Allegro and fast moves. And that's another one where the curtain goes up and all the little bugs are on stage. You literally, like, my heart starts racing. And in that moment, the music starts, it goes, whoo. And then, yeah, that's an incredible moment. So I've gotten to do Oberon. I would still love to do Puck. Puck is still like on a bucket list. I might not get to do it, but it's still like within dreams range. One more dream role that I've always wanted to do, Red Angels.
Oh.
Red Angels, I saw City Ballet do it, and I got to actually see Albert Evans dance that, and just the feeling of seeing those four dancers and Albert move. And then I met Albert, I went to SAB, so I saw him a couple of times, but he spoke to me once, and he was the most sweet, gentle, kind person, and like, that's my image. So like, seeing Red Angels with him perform that, yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then any bucket list travel?
Wherever my husband wants to go.
Right.
He's been wanting to travel, and with kids, and then my career, and then so wherever he would like to go. I can go wherever is, I mean, as long as I have some wire to wrap on the ride there, I'm fine.
So, pardon me. You've shared with us so much already, but these are the last three questions that I ask everybody. Do you have a favorite or impactful memory? Another one from your creative life or from life?
I would say one, so I can answer so quickly because it's like vivid in my head. So when my parents first realized that that I was good at dancing, it was in high school. They came to see, I think it was like a Nutcracker, like the Nutcracker performance high school does every year. And my mother said to someone, she's like, yeah, he's really good. Like, I think he could really do a career with this. Like, that was the first time that my parents realized that I could, because literally after that, my father was like, so you get paid for dance? So like, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
so
beautiful.
Yeah, my parents are awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've spoken a bit about family and your family and how you feel about family. You have a very, from what you've said, it sounds like you have just such a beautiful, strong, supportive family. And with that example, you're building, you know, that kind of, it really is so telling, you know, how, where we come from and what we can give, then what we can give further, you know. And do you have an insight or a daily inspiration that you can share about living a creative life?
Oh, this is something that I tell people at work all the time because, like I said, dance is hard. It's too hard to do it and not love what you do, or believe in yourself. So if you can find a way to believe in yourself and what you're doing, other people will believe it too. And then you can build off of that energy. Once all it takes is like one little bit of belief in yourself to build on that. Because I see people like get so down, like they're doing beautiful things and they get so caught up in their head and what it looks like. But I'm like, how did you feel? Because what I saw was you do it perfectly, but you started to do it and you didn't feel like it went well, so you already brought it down. But if you had finished with a little flair and like a little like sass or a little wink or eyebrow, let's finish, and then think about how you finish and then the reaction that you get from the finishing, that should be enough to start it. So believe in what you're doing. Believe in what you're doing so other people can.
Yes.
And if you have trouble with that, I'm always here to believe in you. And I tell people, I'm like, I am like, what you're doing is gorgeous. And until you believe that you're gorgeous, I'm going to keep telling you. And I say this to men and women too. I'm like, that was beautiful. Mm. Like, it was beautiful enough for me to walk over to you and let you know that you were beautiful. You've affected somebody in a positive way. You have that power.
You know, Jermel, the last part of what you just said is, I say the same thing. I say, there are so many no's, but if you've gotten one yes, and like you just said, I'm the person, if no one else is, you said you're the person that will believe. I say the same thing. I was like, anchor in the yes. We're so used to anchoring in all the no's and all the ways to get better, better, better. But if you've gotten one yes, and it's so strong in your life that it made an impact, when you're having a hard day, anchor in the yes. And so you're doing the same thing with, it's beautiful. And also the fact that you walk over to, and I'm sure these are younger dancers as well, not just, you know, I'm sure it's all colleagues, but
right,
people hope, and that plants a seed.
But and you know what, like when I first started, there were one or two people who did that to me when I felt like I was like at my lowest, when I literally had nothing else outside of ballet, because ballet was it. And you go into that studio, you have a rough day, you feel like you don't have anything else. There's always someone that was affected in a positive way. You did something that somebody appreciates, whether it's they know what you're going through and you're getting through it anyway.
Yeah. So. Beautiful. Okay, last big question. It's a big one. In supporting and building a more equitable dance community, What do you believe needs to be shifted or changed? And I always say the caveat, there is so much that needs to be changed, but something very, something that comes to mind in the moment now.
For me, I think it's something that should be emphasized, and it's hearing stories. Hearing, sharing, and listening to as many stories, as many perspectives as you can. Having insight into what someone else's life has been like or what they're going through, regardless of race or nationality or religion. Or once you start to like listen to their stories, you're able to realize that they literally can have the same emotions, the same feels, the same insecurities as you. With ballets, like I know people love tradition and stuff, but having a different perspective of like what this ballet might mean to someone could be all the difference. So I think just sharing stories, listen to the stories, being honest with who you are and how you feel, and not apologizing for that. There are ways to relay that respectfully, but don't apologize for what you're feeling or what you've gone through or what you're going through.
Wow. Yes. Sharing stories. Yeah. Yeah. Jermel, thank you so much. This has been such a kind and generous. You're such a kind soul. You're such a positive, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for sharing so much of what you believe in today with us.
My pleasure. And you, like I said, it's like I mirror the energy around me. So I feel that from you. I felt that when you walked into the studio. I feel a confidence. I feel a respect. I feel a love for what you do and the people around you, and that relays. So thank you.
Mutual love, man. I wish I could hug you.
Absolutely.
Do you have a website, or so people could go to Pennsylvania Ballet, that website, to look at to find more out about you,
right?
Of course, but do you have a website, or then if not, a social media tag?
Sure. Yeah, I'm on both Instagram and on Facebook. On Instagram, it's my full name, Jermel Johnson.
Okay.
At Jermel Johnson. And then also my jewelry, I have a separate account for just my jewelry.
Great.
And that is Inspired Adornments by JJ.
Oh, nice. Good.
So, and then I'm on Etsy with my jewelry, and then Facebook, I think it's just my name, Jermel Johnson.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So in the description box below this interview today, you will have a short bio. You will be able to see a short bio from Jermel, and some other information. And then we have exciting new guests every week. Our next guest will be a first soloist from Ballet West, Allison DeBona. So now is a time for thanks. I think our amazing dance world that has held me up, and I felt the love just weave through, to use an analogy from your jewelry. I feel it wrap around for my entire life, basically. Thank you to Gracie, who makes this show happen twice a week and is there, and she's like, it's time to go. So thank you, Gracie. And Jermel, once again, thank you so much to you. And I hope to see you really soon. We're in the same vicinity, but right. Yeah. We will. We'll see each other.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, we'll put that in the universe. Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Keep reimagining creativity, and until next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.